I now give the floor to His Excellency, the Permanent Representative of the Syrian Arab Republic. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Greek philosopher Socrates says very important words more than 2,500 years ago. He said that 2% of the people understand what they say, and 3% think that they understand what they say. However, 95% of the people prefer to die rather than understand what they say. After 2,500 years, percentages have changed, of course. The majority understand what they say, and a minority think that they understand what they say, and a very small minority doesn't understand its own words. This is applicable on Israeli politicians and their representatives in this international organization. Over decades, more than 50 General Assembly sessions have witnessed a voting by the majority of member states for a number of relevant resolutions to Israeli occupation of the Palestinian occupied territories and the occupied Syrian Golan. This majority condemns this occupational policy. It demands Israel that are referred to in the draft resolutions as the occupying power to stop this occupation and hold those practices that violate international law and international humanitarian law and the provisions of the UN Charter. Despite what I've mentioned, we are shocked in every session with weird denials of the fact that there is an occupation on the ground. Some want us to delve into details. However, the major headline is occupation. Occupation exists. Israel is occupying Arab territories. This occupation must come to an end pursuant to General Assembly resolutions and, of course, the Security Council resolutions that are in dozens. Accordingly, member states are not inventing the wheel. Instead, they are trying to convey a message, a legal, political message of great importance, conveying this message to Israelis, because when they deny the rights of others, they cannot continue on that path forever. Some are supporting Israel, indeed. After voting on the draft resolution entitled the Occupied Syrian Golan, my delegation would like to express its thanks and appreciation to all delegations who have voted for draft resolutions under the agenda items 51 and 52, including the occupied Syrian Golan.
وجزيل الشكر لوفدي كوبا وإندونيسيا.
The interpreter corrects items 50 and 51. We can't hear the speaker. Member states, through their wide support to those resolutions, stress that they definitely believe in the inadmissibility of the acquisition of land by force and send a message to the occupying power Israel that it has to put an end to their occupation of the occupied Palestinian territories and Arab territories, including occupied Syrian Golan, and to stop their violations of the Fourth Geneva Convention. especially settlement activities and the theft of natural resources and the confiscation of land and the expulsion of the people from their territories. Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories and the occupied Syrian Golan is not a moody issue that goes along the wishes of Israel. This is a legal matter that we must address here as diplomats. Therefore, the voting was very firm. Most of the member states have voted against that occupation, with the exception of the United States of America and its proxy, Israel, of course. And this was not a surprise to us. The U.S. is the major military and political partner of Israel in their wars and aggressions in the region. They protect it from any accountability to crimes committed, especially in the Security Council, for decades. That passive U.S. vote against the draft resolution of the occupied Syrian Golan, which was adopted by a great majority, conveys a clear message to the entire world. That is, the role that the USA pretended to play, that it is the sponsor of the Middle East process, was not characterized by integrity. That role has ended. The USA, as a member, permanent member in the Security Council that hosts the headquarters of the UN, could have better formed a legitimate international coalition to bring about peace and Israeli occupation and return that occupied land to their true honors, including, of course, the occupied Syrian Golan that should also be once again returned to the original country, Syria, and the statehood in Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital, instead of sponsoring this terrorism and aggression, entrenching occupation, and also looting Syrian oil. Mr. Chairman, the occupied Syrian Golan is a Syrian territory, as everyone recognizes, and it will return to Syria, whether Israel accepts that or not. And if Israel does not accept that fact, it opens up the door for other alternatives. We will regain Golan in peace or by war. To conclude, it would be remiss not to extend my great thanks to the chairman and all members for the excellent organization and accurate organization and the excellent conduct of the meeting. I'd also like to thank the Secretariat for all the effort made to prepare all documents. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the distinguished delegate of the Syrian Arab Republic for his statement. And